If you ask someone what's the most difficult game you've ever played, they'll probably respond with something like Dark Boy, Cup Souls, or Super Meathead. Those people haven't played FTL. You see, it's not just a game that's difficult to win even on its lowest difficulty. FTL will sit you down to tell you a story. It'll take you on a 2-hour adventure of overcoming obstacle after obstacle, growing a bond with your crew, mourning the loss of a friend, and celebrating a hard-fought victory. And it may even give you the slightest glimmer of hope of defeating the final boss. Oh, fuck. They're all dead. FTL's like that one friend you still have from high school. He's a great time to hang out with, but I'm afraid that if I introduce him to my new friends, they'll get so irritated with him that they'll start to think less of me. Or on the flip side, maybe they'll like each other so much that they start to hang out without me and forget I even exist. I think FTL might be one of the greatest indie games of all time, and that's certainly not because there's a lack of competition. The first time I played Faster Than Light, it opened my eyes to everything indie games can be. There's not one specific mechanic that's the driving force carrying the rest of the game on its shoulders. It's a combination of simple and tasty slices of gameplay that form together to make one delicious fuck you Parmesan. Okay, so obviously there's a lot I like about this game. So let's start by getting my complaints out of the way. For some reason, there's no option to change the resolution in the settings. If you want this game running above 720p, you need to set it to full screen stretch. I'm ashamed to admit how much footage I have from before I figured this out. There's no option to buy back items that you've accidentally sold at the store, which is needlessly annoying when scrap is so important. These shields look a little pixelated on the edges. I don't know, just make them more round, I guess. That's about all the problems I have. It's a bit surprising to me too, since I'm not usually a fan of roguelike games. I think permadeath and procedural generation are actually pretty tricky to pull off well. For me to enjoy those things, they need to enhance the game in some way, and not just be there to fill in the gaps of missing content. And that's exactly what FTL is able to do. Maybe we should take a step back. Hi, welcome to FTL, where everything's on fire and I'm terrified. The game has a simple premise. Your ship is carrying information that's vital to the Federation in the fight against the rebels. So you have to live long enough to bring that information 8 sectors away. Yeah, only one small problem. You're on a time limit here, sort of. Each time you move on the map, the rebels get closer to finding you. There are certain things you can do to slow them down, and it's not game over if they do catch you, you just really don't want to get stuck behind the curve. The more time you spend in each system, the more loot and gear you'll be able to stock up on. So you want to explore as much as possible before the rebels find you. When you first start, you only have a couple of ships to choose from. You'll need to complete objectives to unlock more, but don't expect too much from your first few attempts. A better place to start is with the different ship layouts. Each ship has 3 variants, which you can unlock by completing missions with its Type A. They change the layout and starting gear, and can actually feel significantly different from the base ship. One of the most charming and simultaneously cruel parts about starting a new game is giving a name to your ship and all its crew. You've got Kozar, Dubes, and Superhands. The gang's all here. All aboard the USS Coffin. I love small things like that in games that make you feel a bit more invested in what you're doing. That's not just some random guy fighting off space bugs in the engine room. That's Kozar! Look, he's suffocating trying to repair that hole in our ship. God, that is so Kozar. It's a small thing, really. You don't even have to do it if you don't feel like it, but for me, the adventure with my crew forms its own story beyond just the narrative in this game. Oh, god damn it. Every playthrough feels different, even when I'm replaying with the same ship. You'll need to stop at stores along the way in order to buy new weapons and ship upgrades. But you never know what you'll come across at each store. Fuel and ammo is always available, but the items you can purchase are randomized. So even after you know your favorite weapon and enhancements, there's no guarantee you'll come across it in this playthrough, or if you'll have enough scrap at the time to afford it. I found the best burst laser in the game, but I don't really have enough money to buy it, so I sold almost all of my guns to get it. Was that the right move? I have absolutely no idea. There's a lot of different ways to fight. There's definitely tactics that are better or worse, but there's enough here that it becomes more about how you want to play rather than how you should play. Because you never know which weapons or upgrades you're going to come across, there isn't necessarily an underlying meta of you need to use this weapon or that weapon's not viable. If you find something that you think works well with your ship or just sounds fun to use, try it. Figure out what you enjoy using before you start writing things off as good or bad. I used to think upgrading my shields all the way was the most important upgrade, until I realized that upgrading my engines first can be cheaper and turn me into a Dodge Lord. Probably my favorite thing about the whole game is managing the power between different systems. Instead of buying new items at the shop, you can upgrade specific components on your ship. The more you upgrade them, the more power they'll need to function. But you can increase and decrease the power of those systems on the fly, which, if done well, can make you feel like a power system savant. Or if done poorly, will make you watch your crew suffer a slow and painful death because you forgot to switch the power back on to the oxygen. It almost always feels like there's just enough going on during a fight to keep you engaged, yet not overwhelmed. Every fight feels like a challenge. It's usually worth finishing the fight even against the most difficult ships. The end reward is what gives you the scrap to upgrade your ship for future fights. I mean, if you're really in the shit, you can just try and hold out till your FTL drive is charged and make a run for it. But that plan starts to fall apart when you realize the enemies are only going to get more and more difficult going forward. So you're sort of shooting yourself in the foot. But there's more in this galaxy than just combat. Almost every location has some sort of event that requires you to make a decision. These choices are small in the grand scheme of things and won't have much impact on the galaxy that you're passing through. But over time, they allow you to form an identity of what type of crew you're going to be. Are you going to be a hero and help someone being chased down by pirates, or are you going to be a dick and accept the bribe? Maybe you're the type of person who doesn't care about moral choices in games, so a bribe might seem like the obvious choice. But have you thought about the fact that there might be a reason the pirates are interested in hunting this unidentified ship? It's at that point that you start to question just how clever FTL is. Does this game include some sort of morality system? Am I going to be punished for being a dick or rewarded for being the hero? And what does it matter in the grand scheme of things? There's a space slug who wants me to answer his riddle and he'll join my crew. How many moons are in orbit? 5? 6? 11? 11 moons? No, 11's just ridiculous. Let's go with 6. Oh, he robbed me. I think I might be developing a prejudice against slug people now. Having a certain type of crew member or an important system on your ship can open up new dialogue options during these events as well. It'll give you a blue option, which will always guarantee success and give you the best possible outcome. This game has a really in-depth wiki which you can look at to see all the outcomes of the pop-up events in the game. That's nice, but for me, so much of the fun came from treating these like actual decisions. It's an unforgiving game, yes, but it's also a game about pushing your luck. If you're not going to be able to play with a shit happens kind of mindset, then this might not be the game for you. Once you've seen a lot of what this game has to offer and are trying to go for achievements or unlocking new ships, that's when it's a good time to take advantage of the wiki, at least in my opinion. With this added layer of decision making on top of a really solid foundation with FTL's combat, there's a lot here that will appeal to a wide range of gamers. Jesus Christ, did I just use gamers unironically? What is happening to me? This game's making me regress back into my unbearable, obnoxious high school self. Maybe I'm that one friend from high school that people are embarrassed to introduce to their new friends. Maybe FTL is more than just a game. Maybe it's an allegory for life itself. Life is difficult too, and maybe it's not meant to be beaten even on the lowest difficulty. The Rebel flagship will come for all of us one day, and most of us won't be prepared. Most of us will be just like Kozar. Like any good roguelike, this game is easy to learn but difficult to master. When you're first starting out, don't be expecting to be able to play on anything other than easy difficulty. In fact, I'd go as far to say that if you're not the type of person who can enjoy a game where you lose far more often than you win, then you're probably not going to have a good time. FTL is one of those few games on Steam that have been given the overwhelmingly positive review score. Most of the negative reviews I've seen about the game will mainly revolve around it being too difficult, but I've never seen anyone complain that the gameplay is lacking in any way. It's worth mentioning that there was a free update back in 2014 that added new ships, weapons, new layouts for existing ships, and a whole lot more. They even added a hard difficulty mode for some ungodly reason. You see, the thing is, even after hundreds of hours, many players, not me of course, but many players still can't beat the game on normal, let alone hard. I've heard that this update also makes the game harder overall, regardless of which difficulty you're playing on, but I'm not really sure. When I used to play this game pretty regularly before the update, I very rarely was able to beat the game, even on easy. And then when I picked it back up for this review, I was able to beat it on my first try. But I guess my point is, don't think that this game is impossible or anything. It's a hard game, but that high difficulty is what gives it that strong sense of replayability. If you're thinking about buying this game, allow me to rattle off my top 5 beginner tips. Number 1. The teleporter, beyond just being super badass, is best used by races good at combat, like the Mantis or Rock people. Just pay extra attention not to destroy the ship before our boys have come home. Number 2. The main way to unlock new ships is by beating the final boss, but there's alternative ways that are sometimes easier to complete considering how much of a nightmare that last fight can be. If you're having trouble beating the flagship, aim for these instead. Number 3. Timing your shots will actually win you a lot more fights than if you were to just leave everything on auto-fire. It takes some getting used to, but it's widely more effective. Number 4. The NG Cruiser B is a garbage ship and I hate it. And number 5. You probably shouldn't do this one, but you can find enemy ships early on that won't actually be able to do any damage to you. Basically, you could step away from the game for a couple of minutes and just cheese all your guys to max level like a scumbag. Just like the developers intended. If you're like me, there's a good chance that FTL will hook you in for 20 to 30 hours, nearly as long as I spend on many AAA games. But there's also a good chance that FTL will draw you in for hundreds of hours if you let it. And regardless of which category you fall into, it's an incredible value for $10, or possibly less than $3 if you buy it on sale. Even if you're not a fan of roguelike games, or have never played this type of game before, I still think you should give FTL a shot. It's a good gateway game into that genre and just does so much right. Subset Games deserves a lot of praise for this one. It's even more impressive when you realize it was their first game and was only developed by 2 people. They have a newer game, which I've yet to check out, but is definitely on the list. Not sure it'll be able to raise the feelings of fear and regret quite like FTL does, though. Is that the sound of a fire? It's probably just coming from the other ship or something. I don't think it's anything to worry about. If I can't see it, then it's definitely nothing to worry about.